welcome back to Uplift Equine, Equestrian Education. Today I want to go over some gift ideas for the holidays, since that seems to be rolling up pretty quickly here. You know, we only have about 2.5 weeks left before our holiday season. This can also be used for birthdays as well, but sometimes it can be really difficult to find that perfect gift for your equestrian friend or colleague or spouse. Spouse, you might know who they are a little bit better and exactly what they want, but we'll go over about 21 ideas for this holiday. All right, idea number 1, halters. Horses can go through halters pretty easily, and if they are nylon halters, they can kind of get pilly or frayed a little bit, and they don't look so good, and they all get dirty. Leather halters can snap or break depending on how old that halter is. So halters are generally a good thing to have on hand, and an extra one is great to have on hand. The first bit of research that you want to do is what type of halter does your equestrian friend use? Do they use nylon? Do they use leather? Or do they use rope halters? Or do they use like a quick release halter or a safety halter? That's the one with a bit of leather that's connected to the strap that goes onto their head. So this is usually safe to do. I like to suggest leather halters because they tend to be a little bit more expensive, harder to get a really good one. So if you want to have a good gift idea and you are going the halter route, I would suggest a nice leather halter. They will love it. They will love it. The next idea, a horse-related jewelry gift. So this is for ladies or, you know, men who want to have kind of like a manly jewelry thing. Horse-related jewelry is, in my opinion, always welcome. If they have pierced ears or if they wear earrings of any kind, usually like a cute stud earring would be good because then they can wear it to the barn without having any kind of like snag problems, or their horse might want to nibble on those dangly earrings. So the danglies, if they want to wear it at the barn, not a good idea, but a good pair of nice little studs would be really cute and really nice. The other horse-related jewelry that you might have to get their permission, or if they're a spouse and it's okay to kind of do a few sneaky things, you can use some of the horse's tail or mane hair that you could pull or cut off, depending, you know, given that the horse is still alive. You can send that out, and this is more of a well-planned in the future kind of gift, but you can send that out to certain artisans and they will make a bracelet or a pendant or a piece of jewelry out of that mane and tail hair, which is kind of really cute. And, you know, personally, if you're going to go to the jewelry route, I would love that type of jewelry. But anyway, the next one is a nice riding shirt. So there's a difference between t-shirts and riding shirts, especially when it comes to our English riders that tend to like specific things. So riding shirts can be, they kind of look like golf shirts. They can be kind of like high collared and they have a little zip thing. They can be short sleeve or long sleeve. Generally these are cool and they're able to kind of have a physical UV barrier, and that's why we wear them. And for you Western people, you can wear a cute like t-shirt that says something cute on it, or one of those show shirts if you're doing Western pleasure. But I would say do a little research on your equestrian friend and see what they wear, and just do a little bit of observation, kind of sneakily get their t-shirt size or shirt size, and then go out and get their, you know, a really nice shirt, like riding shirt for them. Saddle blankets. Now, I know most equestrians may have a library of saddle blankets, especially if they're a collector of saddle blankets. But getting a nice one that reflects their type of riding, because there are a lot of different types of saddle blankets, would be a really nice gift for them. But make sure that you do a little research, know what kind of saddle they use. So for for those of you who are not familiar with the types of saddles, for English, you've got dressage, you've got all-purpose, you've got jumping. Those are like the general 3. So if you look at an all-purpose saddle pad, that doesn't mean it's for all purposes. It will mean that it is for an all-purpose saddle, which tends to be a little bit of a fusion between a jumping saddle and a dressage saddle. Now there's a lot of other ones like Australian saddles, but those tend to use dressage type saddle pads anyway. For the Western, it's a little bit easier, but take a look and see what they already use. See what kind of thickness, because there's a big thing with thickness of pads and all of that. And of course you want to see what their favorite color is and what kind of color they like to use. Unless you kind of want to go for like a white elephant thing and you just go for a loud, obnoxious color. But that could be a good gift for an equestrian. The next one is a nice brush. Again, you've got to do a little bit of research, go to the barn with them, just say, hey, I want to help you groom your horse, and then kind of see what's in their grooming kit. So there's a difference between brushes and nice brushes for horses. There's the regular synthetic brushes that are like, whatever. You can buy them for $2 at Tractor Supply or something, probably a little bit more, and then there's those nice brushes that are made out of like horse hair, nicely packed, Haas brushes. And now this video is not actually sponsored by any of these brands, but these brands are the ones that I like and the ones that I've had experience with. But you can buy whatever brand you feel necessary. But anyway, when it comes to grooming things, a nice horsehair brush can make all the difference when it comes to grooming. And if your equestrian friend would love one, but then, doesn't really want to splurge on it or can't really afford to, buy them that nice brush and they will love you forever for it. The other one, when it comes to grooming tips, it's not necessarily like one of my 21 suggestions, but a nice curry comb. So I like to use a nice like massaging curry. I have a rubber one, but the other one would be a nice copper curry. That one, it's about $40. It's one of those things where it's like, do you want to spend the money on that? It's just a curry comb, whatever. It's antibacterial, and if you want to give something as a gift within that price range, that would be one of the really good ones, but just make sure that they don't already have one. The next one on my list of 21 gift ideas is a helmet cover or helmet. So do a little research, make sure that they wear a helmet, but a helmet cover that has, something cute on it that they could use just during riding or during a show or something. They would, I'm sure they would love it. Another one is a helmet. So helmets tend to be pretty expensive, and they should be replaced after a blow, like, you hit your head on something and it will damage the internal structure that protects your skull. They should be replaced after that, or they should be replaced every 5 to 7 years. So a lot of equestrians tend to neglect that because they're like, I don't know, it seems okay. Because I know this because I used to be one of those equestrians. I had a helmet for literally 15 years. And I can't tell you how many times I've fallen off with that helmet and never replaced it, but it became hard as a rock. And I'm like, I think I would have more trauma to my head if I continued to use this versus if I went and bought a new one. So that tends to be a neglected area. So if you want to do a little bit of research, go buy a helmet cover or helmet for them. And it could be a number of price points. It could be anywhere between $40 or $50 and $300. So you just want to kind of look at your price point and see what you got. Another one is leather care products. And this is something that I know they will be using, unless their entire tack set is made out of biofane, which is a different thing. Most people use leather. They have leather girths, leather saddles, leather boots, leather bridles, leather reins. Everything is generally some sort of leather strap or piece of leather. So getting some like nice leather care product or like a little leather care kit would be really good idea for this holiday season for your equestrian friend. Another one would be paying ahead for their lessons. So if they take regular lessons, what you can do is go and ask them if you can kind of watch one of their lessons. You're interested in the lesson. And then afterwards, when they go and start untacking, kind of hang back and talk to the instructor and say, hey, I'd like to kind of gift them some lessons ahead of time. And that can save them a lot of money, and it's also a really, really good gift idea for your equestrian friend to pay a couple months ahead for them. Another good one would be hoof care products. So hoof care products are used quite a lot. Do a little bit of research to make sure that they will actually use that particular hoof care product. But there are some of them that actually can be really good for their nails after you apply them to the hoof. So one of these is like a hoof care lotion. So you've got your equestrian friend, they pump some lotion, they stick it on the hoof in the cornet band, and then they have it on their hands and they rub it back into their hands, and it feels really nice. So that's something that can be both for horse and person, and it is low risk of the horse reacting funny or it being a product that they would likely not use. So that would be a good product for you to get if you want to get that type of thing. Another thing would be that book that they've always wanted but have never bought. So that horsey book, like a novel or an education book, that would be something to kind of talk to them about and be like, hey, did you have a book that you were looking at or something? Or even within conversation throughout the year, if they mention something, I would say go get it, store it, and see how that goes. The next thing would be those new riding pants or tights. Now this one is kind of like a personal item, but if they've been looking at like a new pair of riding pants or tights, or you've been noticing that their current ones are going pretty threadbare, I would say get their size, figure out if they like certain brands or a certain thing, like, suede versus silicone. Like if you got me tights with silicone, I would hate it because I do not like the stickiness of silicone. It just, I don't know. But some people love it. Some people love to have, to be kind of stuck to their saddle. Another one would be nice suede. So that would be something that these days is harder to find. So if you want to get them a nice pair of riding pants with some suede seat, that would be awesome. They would love it. For Western people, a nice pair of riding jeans. So for those of you who are not familiar with riding jeans versus jeans, there is a difference. They might look similar, but there is a difference because the inner seam of the pants for riding pants, that does not exist. That's not there. So the fabric is wrapped around the inside of their legs so that there's no seam interfering with them and the horse, because if you ride for short periods of time, it's really not going to bother you wearing regular jeans. But if you ride for a long period of time, and believe me, I've done this with regular jeans, that can chafe like nobody's business. And so getting them a nice pair of riding jeans would be something that I'm sure they would love. Or get them a nice pair of Western riding pants. That would be another idea. Another idea is a horsey water bottle or like a travel mug. So you know that they're going to want to bring water or coffee or tea or something to the barn because, we all spend way more time at the barn than we should, or way more time at the barn than we say we think we will. So getting them some hydration product that has, a cute horsey saying or a horse's face or some sort of horse art on it would be really appreciated, I'm sure. Because as we all know, if we are equestrians, sometimes there can be accidents with certain other water bottles. So even if they already have one, getting them a spare would be a good idea, because you never know when that water bottle will knock over and some horse will step on it. That is a bad day for a horse because they can spook on it, but that is something that could destroy the water bottle, or they forget it at the barn and someone else swipes it, who knows. But there are certain instances where they can, get damaged or anything. So a replacement would be a great gift idea. The next gift idea is chocolate. And I know this is kind of generic, but sometimes if you're really, really not sure, if you don't know them well enough and you really don't want to do any research, just get them some nice chocolate. Dark chocolate or more expensive chocolate, or if they are absolutely addicted to Hershey chocolate, that's fine. But just whatever chocolate you think that they will like, package that nice into some sort of, bag or mason jar or something, and then give it to them as a gift. I'm sure they would greatly appreciate that. The next one would be a grooming tote. So many a time, equestrians will use whatever tote that they've had for the past 10 years, or they'll just use it if it's nylon, until it's completely threadbare. And sometimes that's just an item that tends to kind of go by the wayside sometimes. So, like I said, do a little research, go there, groom their horse with them, just spend some time with them, and then take an observation and see if it's something that they might need. Generally, take note of how big it is, because sometimes grooming totes these days tend to be too small. Or at least, in my opinion, with how many grooming products that I use, tend to be too small. So the idea that you can do is either get them a nice one that is from a horsey dealer or a horsey place, or if you want to be even better, that will last way longer, you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get them a kind of a toolkit thing, so a tool bag or a tool carrier for their grooming tools. So this is something that some people don't really think about, but you can save a lot of money and get something way nicer if you go the tool carrier route versus the horsey grooming kit route. So that's another idea. The next idea is tall socks. So if they wear Western boots or tall boots or anything, you could do summer weight socks or winter weight socks. Those are always going to be used because they go threadbare somewhat. At least the summer weight ones kind of go threadbare, so they will always need socks. And then the next one kind of rolls into that, a nice pair of wool socks. If you are in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere that tends to get really cold, a nice pair of wool socks. So I like to use the Nordic socks, because this time of year they tend to come in a nice 5-pack for $20 kind of deal, which I have those, and I've used the cotton ones and I've used the wool ones, and I will tell you this, the wool ones are way nicer and way more have more of a warming effect, and wool has a tendency to be very drying, so it will wick away your sweat and let that disperse and keep your feet nice and toasty warm, even if they get wet. So that's the nice thing. Cotton tends to keep you cold and pull heat away, whereas wool, even if it's wet, will continue to insulate. So a nice pair of wool socks would be greatly appreciated, I'm sure. The next one is a wool sweater or vest. So something that that they will wear going to the barn and need to be able to stay toasty warm while they are enjoying their horse. So something that, it's less dreadful to go and see their horse in. The next one would be a Bronco halter strap. Now, this is something that is kind of more for the Western side of things, but I don't want to neglect them too much because I feel like I have. But there are these Bronco straps. It's this nice thick piece of leather that you can put the horse's name on, or a nice design. I'm sure if you go to Etsy, there's tons of options. You can even do a custom thing, I'm sure. But it attaches to their halter and kind of gives them a nice little custom feel. So that would be a good gift idea as well. And a quarter blanket. So blankets for horses tend to be pretty personal. That could be a gift idea if you know the horse really well and their size. But a quarter blanket is a nice in-between, because you don't necessarily have to get their size exactly on. You can be a couple of inches, too much or too little, and it still kind of works. But a quarter blanket is used when you are riding the horse. It either covers the horse and comes underneath the saddle, or if it's designed to go around the rider's legs, that can keep the rider nice and twisty warm, and it's always appreciated in times of cold weather. So the last one, number 21, will be a recording device. So if they don't already have a recording device, or if you see them try to prop up their phone and try to make it work, then getting some sort of Pivo or Pixio would definitely be something that they would appreciate, I am very sure, because it can be used for both online lessons and for recording themselves so that they kind of can self-critique, or if they want to record a test, like a Western dressage test or a regular dressage test, and send it in for review by a judge, that would also be something that they would use many, many times, I'm sure. That tends to get on the higher price point, but it just depends on what your budget looks like and how much you want to spend on your equestrian friend, spouse, or associate or sibling. So for this video, I want to credit my Central Indiana students for sponsoring this video. They sponsored this video by just being my students, and I want to thank you, and I want to extend my appreciation for you guys that you have stayed with me and that you have chosen to keep me as your trainer. I do offer live lessons in Central Indiana, and I also offer online lessons if you are interested in that and are not in the Central Indiana area. So just shoot me an email, upliftequine@gmail.com, if you're interested in either one of those. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season and have a wonderful time with your family and friends, and of course, be kind.